Hello everyone, welcome back to Rayman Origins. In this part, we go to the fifth world of the game, Mystical Peak, or
I see what they did there.
Mystical Picky.
It's pronounced peak, but like it's a homonym.
It's a mountain.
It's a homonym.
You see, it's clever because they both mean the same thing.
No, they mean different things.
They sound the same.
Yes,
that's what I
remember.
What
your
I
grade school grammar lessons. Nobody remembers the grade school grammar lessons.
No.
One of the most useless things in anyone's native language is knowing what the different parts of language are called, because that's the one thing you never use, ever.
Yeah, and that's part of why learning new language is so hard, because then you have to think about all the rules that you just kind of knew when you were just...
Depends on what language you're talking about, because like if you're going from like English to Spanish, the rules aren't too different, so that part isn't quite so hard. But if you're going for like English to something like Japanese or Chinese, everything's in different places and in different orders, and some things don't appear at all. And it's like, yeah, okay. Why are there 7 million pronouns in this language that all mean the same thing?
All I know is I ordered a thesaurus online and it got lost in the mail, so I have no words to describe how angry I am about that.
Oh man. Anyway, who would have guessed that if you go to the left at the beginning of the level, there's a secret there? Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. You ingenious creative bastards, you.
That used to be such a novel thing when we were all not born yet. But
well, I wouldn't know I wasn't born.
Oh man, now that I'm thinking about it, there's really not that many platformers where you're ever going to the left, right? Like at all.
Are you talking about just for progression?
Just for progression.
I mean, it depends on what.
Sonic does it a fair amount.
Well, Sonic zigzags a lot, so does Crash Bandicoot at times.
Well, back Crash Bandicoot, you mostly go forward.
No. In Crash Bandicoot, there's 2D sections, there's 3D sections. They're all interweaving out through each other. So, like, you'll get stuff like fucking Native Fortress, where you spend maybe 2 minutes going to the left, and then you'll go up and then to the right. Or, you'll get to go in all the directions in Crash Bandicoot, basically.
Oh Christ!
That was brutal.
So I'm just wondering why it's always to the right. Is it just because like Westerner? Well, no, it's not. It can be just because Westerners.
No, I don't even think it's. I don't think it's Westerners. I think it's just.
Yeah.
Miyamoto is Japanese. Damn it.
Yeah, that's why I caught myself as just like, yeah, no, it's. I'm sure it's momentum from Mario. Because Mario went to the right, and Mario had A as jump and B as attack, so that's why every other game has it like that.
You see, I was not so much tied to a video game. I always thought it was more of a psychological thing, where I think people are more inclined to go right.
Well,
than left.
The reason bringing up Miyamoto is noteworthy here is because
I'm not a psychologist.
I would imagine it's primarily a right-handed thing.
Maybe, but like the reason I bring up Miyamoto there is because like the Japanese writing system goes in the other direction. So.
Yeah, it goes up and down. It goes up to down and then right to left, right?
Yeah, pretty much like the opposite in every
No
axis to English. Which I always found interesting. But they also do like write in text box format from left to right, and I've never actually looked up why that is.
You know what? It's probably a computer thing because most computer programs were written in English at the beginning. And so, like, the formatting and the code for doing that was probably just easier.
Fair enough.
That's the only... Listen, lady, why are you wearing, like, cold weather clothes and then not wearing any pants? I don't get it. Like, what...
Oh, she could be wearing leggings.
No, she's not wearing...
Or a stocking.
No, she's not wearing stockings. She's not wearing pants.
How do we know?
Because look at her. You can tell.
It could be the same color skin. I'm just saying, there are stockings that are the same color skin.
Wait, Rayman has Sonic the Hedgehog quarter pipes now.
Yeah, so this is the best ability in the game when you get the ability to run up walls.
And Sonic shouldn't be able to do that. This game fucking sucks.
And then we play Simon Says here for a little bit. I don't know why they have this section in the game. It's mostly just, I think, so that you can see these guys look stupid. There's like nothing like this in the rest of the game. I don't know why it's here.
This isn't Simon Says.
This is monkey see, monkey do.
Praise be to the magic door of wisdom.
You
Anyway,
are so out of sync.
Hey,
Rufus
they gave me
is not
Lums
going
anyway.
to give you the Force Stealer today.
All that matters is the game cares.
Rufus is going to keep that Force Stealer to himself today. I am sorry, but you just failed. Someone send that soldier a bomb.
That's a different game, though.
But anyway, yeah, being able to run up walls is awesome, and it's like it leads to some of the best platforming in the entire game. That is one thing that Rayman Legends does have over Origins, in that you don't like have this progression of moves, so you get to use all of your abilities from the beginning, and so there's more spots earlier on where you get to like run up walls or turn small or whatever, which is neat, but it's a kind of a minor thing. And the earlier levels are kind of built with these abilities in mind for speedrunning. So there are some shortcuts you can take once you can like hover or run on walls or whatever. Which, I don't know, I just think it's cool. All right?
So, like, at that speed, it's so clearly impossible to run up a wall or along a ceiling at that speed.
It's a cartoon.
That it actually kind of bothers me to watch it in motion. Like,
Well, he needed a magical fairy power to do it, so it's not like...
I feel like Rayman should just have a little bit more speed to make this look satisfying.
Don't worry. Especially once you get to some of the later parts. Like, there's some really cool looking stuff that you can do, and the platforming is just really... Like, there's not as many parts in the game after like these first two levels where you're just like running on the wall not doing anything. You're like making
this
cool
is the
trick
tutorial
jumps.
area.
Yeah,
So.
it's like making sure you like understand how it works, and like how, for example, if you start running to the right and then you zigzag, but now you're running up the wall on the ceiling to the left, you still need to hold right. Because that's the direction you were going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's stuff like that, and the game is just, you know, trying to ease you into it. After this point, though, the game does get like, the game takes the gloves off pretty quickly with this stuff. I think like once you get to the next world, they
I'm just talking purely like visual feel. It feels like they should have tuned up Rayman's running speed just a little bit more to make it like feel like a cool power. But
I mean, I think it's plenty cool as is. That's just me.
I mean, I like the
obviously.
stuff you're doing with it, like running up a wall along a ceiling and then jumping back and forth between floor and ceiling can be a pretty cool trick.
Yeah. Yeah, I also just love the music in this level too. Again, this is something that I briefly mentioned in an earlier part, but I think that this game's soundtrack is criminally underrated. There's like 3 or so songs that if you like looked up the soundtrack on YouTube, you would get a lot of like views and stuff for. Like everybody who's played this like talks about the Land of the Living Dead soundtrack, for example, and that song's great too. But I just love this entire game's music. I think that there's not a bad song on the soundtrack, which isn't super common for a game like this. Usually there's at least one track that annoys you a little bit. Or in the case of Super Mario World, it's every track, because every track is the goddamn same.
Oh no.
What? Did I say that out loud?
Oh no.
Oh, it's good. John went to take a phone call, so he can't yell at me for making true statements of fact.
I mean, by that metric, most of Kirby Forgotten Land soundtrack is back, and it's just standing tall.
Honestly, I would disagree there. Forgotten Land.
It bothers me.
Also, Ted, you were actually spot on. I did have to take a phone call.
But like, if you compare like Forgotten Land with like Planet Robobot or Star Allies, Forgotten Land uses its leitmotif far less, which is something I appreciate, because I know that everybody loves their leitmotifs. It bothers me when like every track in the game is
I
found.
don't know. I'm just
somewhere
going down a
else in the
roller
game.
coaster, and all I can think about is Perfect Strangers.
Standing tall.
You know something?
on
This
the wings
area of
of
the
my
game, for some
Cleo.
reason, is making me think of some weird Bizarro Universe crossover between Disney's Aladdin on Sega Genesis and fucking Dragon's Crown for some reason.
Dragon's Crown.
I mean, obviously Vanillaware and this game have very different art styles, but it is kind of the same idea with the high resolution, really beautifully animated 2D graphics. For something with less cheesecake, I really recommend looking up visuals of Muramasa the
or
Deep.
just as much cheesecake. If we're talking about Rayman.
I'm just talking about the temple and mountains aesthetic is making me think of that sort of Dungeons and Dragon-y type of adventure game setting, but sliding around on clotheslines is more like, yeah, it's an Aladdin thing.
I know it's probably asking too much, but I would just like every 2D game to just look like Vanillaware shit for the rest of time.
Dude. Oh yeah, I still need to play 13 Sentinels. I have that game and I need to play it.
I've not played that one.
You have played it?
No, I have not.
Okay,
played
well,
that one.
it's like mostly a visual novel, apparently, until it becomes like a RTS,
RTS for some reason.
mecha game, which
Yeah,
is
it's
weird.
like the RTS part is like, do I really have to play this?
Yeah, it's
Because that's just so not my genre.
yeah, but like maybe that might be a game you'd rather just watch a Let's Play of. In that
Yeah.
case,
Well, it's one of those things where I'd probably play once it goes out to like cheaper on like Steam.
I
or
like
something
how
later.
you went to the trouble of killing all the enemies before the ceiling could fall down and kill them for you.
well, I did that on purpose because if the ceiling kills the enemies, you don't get lums.
Oh.
I did spend like an hour trying to get that skull coin for the
An
record.
hour.
Not an hour, you know what I mean, like 3 minutes.
Oh, 2 hours.
3 minutes can feel like an hour. You know what I mean. Mythical 9-year-olds who watch BrainScratch commentaries for some reason.
Well, I mean, what kind of mythical are we talking about? A Mew mythical where they give you one every couple of years, or a Manaphy, not a Manaphy mythical where they give you like one every 10 years?
Fucking nerd.
Listen, are you saying that you absolutely would not play through an entire playthrough of Pokemon Ranger in order to get a Manaphy, and then when it's not shiny, do a completely new playthrough of Pokemon Ranger to get yet
God.
another Manaphy?
It angers me that people have probably.
No,
done
people have done that. People have shiny hunted for Manaphy because I believe the only legitimate way to get a shiny Manaphy, I don't know why I died there. I believe the only legitimate way to get a shiny Manaphy, as of right now, I could be wrong, they might have had another one, is by beating Pokemon Ranger, which then gives you the Manaphy egg, which you can transfer to Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, I think, and then you get a Manaphy there.
I am
yeah.
not sure if the Manaphy in Arceus is shiny locked or not.
Oh yeah, there is a Manaphy in Arceus. Oh, that crap was dumb.
Yeah,
For the
that was so
record.
weird. It was the rarest Pokemon for years and years and years, and then within like 3 months they give you 2 games where you can get one.
No, but the Manaphy mission in Arceus angers me because it's the kind of like, oh, Bill's garden, oh, Mew behind the truck nonsense, but it's real, and turns out it's actually a lot more infuriating when it's real because then it's like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? In order to figure out how to get the Manaphy in Arceus, you have to have played Diamond and Pearl remakes and read a book on one shelf in some library in the game, and then read it and like memorized the Pokemon that you need to have in your party at that point, and then bring it to one stupid specific place. And it's like, guys, I just want the Pokemon. Why do I need to buy another video game in order to get a Pokemon? That's stupid.
This is what the internet is for.
I mean, the real problem is that you need to have played Diamond and Pearl Remake at all.
Yeah,
I went
I mean,
there.
there's that too.
I went
but,
there. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And that doesn't mean anything to me. Like I was watching Aura play, and it's like this is just Gen 4, which I guess is the problem.
It's the first remake where there's really no reason to play it over its original.
Yeah, it's not even like, I mean, as we all know, I am not the biggest Gen 4 fan here. But the thing about having a remake like that is you're supposed to try to attempt to fix the game's problems, and you didn't. And also, it's just ugly. I know that some people like the art style, and more power to you, but I just find the game hideous to look at. Especially when compared to something like
if it was just that it had an art style or lack of one that I didn't like, I would be fine with that. If it it doesn't really feel like a remake that is attempting in any way to capitalize on being a version of the game in a new generation. Like,
so you guys would say, because I've not played this game, so it is not Heart Gold and Soul Silver to Gold and Silver.
The best way to
and Auras to Gen 3.
The best way to play Gen 4 is still Platinum.
Okay.
There's no reason to play the new versions, really.
I mean,
they did a few little things with like the underground, but again, it's one of the.
I mean, I'd still say, like, if you want to play that particular generation, then sure, the remake is a plenty valid way. It's probably easier to get a hold of than the originals by far.
Yeah,
but
if you want like the overall best experience of that generation, it's still Platinum overall.
Yeah, I mean,
that's tricky though, because overall best experience has a lot of baggage attached to it. If we're also including trading and Wi-Fi, because you can't do that anymore on the original game.
It is just beyond low effort B team material. They didn't really put a lot into it, and that kind of irritates me, but not enough for me to actually care too much, because I don't have any attachment to that particular generation. But it's like, okay, I didn't have attachment to Gen 3 either, but getting, the remakes of that on 3DS did actually, garner some enthusiasm from me, because I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool, well-produced little game, I was like, and, I sat down and played it, and the only thing that stopped me from playing very far was my own neurotic hatred of handheld gaming.
Well, at least you're willing to admit it.
Honestly, this is one thing I respect that, Lewis, I really do. I respect that you know what you like, and then, or in this case, don't like, and don't apologize for it, and just like, yeah, I don't like handheld gaming, that's fine. And like, you just do your other thing instead. That's great.
It frustrates me though, because there's so many great handheld games that I just can't sit down and play.
Maybe one day they'll start porting 3DS games to modern systems. I don't know how they'll do it, but it would be nice if they did it one day.
They could just do it the way they ported some of the DS titles to Wii U,
Oh man, but like, how are we gonna get by without being able to have the bottom screen on the gamepad and the top screen on the TV?
By having both on the TV, that you can do that on the Wii U.
Madness.